A 2 hours debate program on Royal FM.
Royal FM.
That is out to aid rail and brainstorm on issues affecting our society with the aim of bringing change.
Topics and realities.
Every Saturday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Royal FM.
Topics and realities.
A weekly program brought to you by the English desk of Royal FM.
Royal FM.
Topics and realities.
Topics and realities.
Topics and realities.
The gateway to change.
Good afternoon, good people. Welcome to Royal 88.4 FM. The program is Topics and Realities, your Saturday talk show. And in today's edition of the program, as our main topic, 15 years after the creation of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, why is corruption still in its apex in Cameroon? What balance sheet can you make of the structure for the past 15 years? And the fundamental question this afternoon will be, is corruption a governance policy or an act in Cameroon? As our teaser this afternoon, we are going to be looking at the different conflicts that have arisen as a result of the ongoing Anglophone crisis. Case study, the farmer-grazing conflict in subdivision, Dongamantu division of the Northwest region. And the question we are going to be finding out, what are the dangers, some of these new conflicts that are stemming out from the Anglophone crisis will pose in our society. We are going to be having an expert in conflict resolution in this program today. The program is Topics and Realities, coming to you live from Royal 88.4 FM, and the team keeping you company this afternoon is made up of Karopuda Tento is our copyright clerk, Yuriskemo is our sound engineer, plus our video editor on our Facebook page, Royal FM Cameroon. Topics and Realities is a production of Royal FM with editorial coaching coming from Jean-Pascal Chala. Coordination is done by on station manager Bertrand Uona. General supervision is ensured by Reverend Pastor Emmanuel Nobisai. Call me the moderator. My name is ABEL Bela Samari. I am the son of Donkey. I will be right back.
Now wait till be money. 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 Oh. Man no be something I say man are not in my way no care Jesus why hat the man are not in my way no care Jesus why hat the man are not in oh. Man now wait till you me say you day. Now waiting where you day. Man, now wait till you me but say you day. Now waiting where you day. Oh. I want to tell you something. I say man are not in my way no care Jesus so I have the man are not in my way no care Jesus so I have the man they for suffer. Satan go can't tell you say make you deny God okay. Na Satan he tell you say na for do bad na he fine. Satan he tell you say drink me but na he fine. For sick and drunk mimbo, ya woman this suffer for house. Mimbo palava, begin then this suffer for house. Satan he tell you say, Nanjomba palava na ifine. Fosikanjomba palava ngonderi dendi mufi bele. Fosikanjomba palava marry woman dendi mufi bele. Fosikanjomba palava some people dendi carry sick. Now wait to be money. Now wait to be money. Man no be something. I say man nothing. Man way in okay Jesus why hat the man they for suffer. Satan go can tell you say, make you give bribe. Now Satan he did tell you say, chop bribe. Small money where you come be get am, ya langa day for inside it. Small money where you come be get am, ya langa day for inside it. Satan he did tell you say, smoke cigar na banga na ifine. Posika smoke cigar na banga, pikin de no di e papa e. Posika smoke cigar na banga, pikin de no di e mama e. Satan he did tell you say, lie na ifine. Na Satan he did tell you say, Congo sign na ifine. Satan he did tell you say, Benny back na ifine. Now what to be money? Now what to be money? Man no be something. I say man a nothing. Man way in okay Jesus why hat the man they for suffer. Satan go can tell you say, na money palava na ifine. Fosika money palava some people don't turn in ninga. Mami di kili pikine, pikin di kili mami eh. Papa di kili pikine, pikin di kili papa eh. Brother di kili brother, sister di kili sister. Sister di kili brother, brother di kili sister. Fosika grankako, woman di kili masai. Fosika njomba palava, massa di driving woman eh. Fosika njomba palava, woman di lefi masai. Fosika langa kanda, papa di sleep with the bikini. Fosika langa money, pikin di sleep with the papa eh. Fosika langa kanda, mami di sleep with the bikini. Fosika langa money, picking this with him, mommy, yeah. Money, palava, some people they enter of money, yeah. Money, palava, people they go enter nyungu. Now where to be money? Now where to be money? Man no be something, I say man a nothing, my way no okay, Jesus way hat, the man they go suffer. Mota sit on the tell over a bana ben probleme. Na momene mota sipite yesue a ben probleme. Na momene. Moda siki jome, majona moda siki jome. Moda siki joma sindon milangu moda siki jome. Amungu wa belki yesu zanemite unanjuga kui baba. Motie, mi monyunga tie, monyunga tie, ankishie, monyunga tie. Ngiye konya Yesu wa longaliwe, leti mutaka. Na weti be mane, man no be something, I say man a nothing. My way no okay, Jesus so I had demanded for suffer. My way no okay, Jesus so I had the man a nothing. My way no okay, Jesus so I had the man a nothing. My way no okay, Jesus so I had the man for suffer.
If you are just tuning in, the program is Topics and Realities. Thank you very much, Irish Kemwe, for that piece of music composed by Mary Mandy. and you say the title is Man No Be Something. Okay, thank you very much. That is a very old music for those who grew in the Anglo-Saxon country, or we know who is Mary Mandy. And with us, we already have some people who are here with us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Ngong Silas.
Good afternoon, Abel, and good afternoon to all the listeners of Royal FM. It's my pleasure to be here and at this program as well.
Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
It's my pleasure.
You are a PhD student. That's what you told me, in conflict. Or how do you put it?
In peace studies.
Okay, in peace study.
Peace studies, yes.
Peace studies.
I'm doing peace studies at the International Graduate School of Leadership in Manila.
Okay.
And plus, I'm a sports chaplain as well.
Yeah. Yes.
With
from
Campus
the
Crusade
Campus
for Christ.
Crusade for Christ. How is Campus Crusade for Christ?
We are doing well. Campus Crusade for Christ is doing well and breaking new ground. Yeah. At this present moment, we have volunteers in 5 new cities.
Yeah.
And we are looking forward to increase our office space and space to host people and conferences and seminars and marriages and all Christian activities, because finding space in this town for a Christian activity could be very challenging. So we're actually in the process of raising up a 4-story building, 2 halls, about 20 rooms and 10 offices in there, to be able to build capacity to support our field work.
That is Campus Crusade for Christ. Thank you for coming to us this afternoon. With you, we are going to be talking a lot about what is happening in Cameroon. Maybe you will give us your expertise, try to enlighten the Cameroonian people. Feel free, you are welcome.
Thank you.
And also with me this afternoon is a regular in the house, even though for some time now he has been on a mobile train. His name is Nelson Lambert. Good afternoon to you, Nelson.
Good afternoon, ABEL Bela Samari. Good afternoon to the technician and the listeners of Royal FM.
It's a pleasure for me to have you this Saturday.
Yeah, the pleasure I shared for quite a long time. I'm happy to be here.
For almost 2 months today.
Yeah.
So how is the new project faring?
We are pushing, we are praying, and we are hoping that it gets better by the day.
Is it also the doctoral level? People are going to schools these days. People are going to school very soon in Cameroon. We are going to have a lot of doctors. So first you say the country is spoiling of ourselves.
Anyway, I will not let the cat out of the bag. I will just let it be. When the time will come, then you know better.
Okay. People should know that Nelson has gone back to study more of our constitution, what the law says. He is a legal mind, we all know in this program. And without wasting much of our time while waiting for the others, but first of all, let us welcome Susan Nayonge with what the papers have been making news throughout this week. Good afternoon to you, Susan.
Good afternoon, Abel. Good afternoon to the panelists, Royal FM listeners, and Facebook page followers. Welcome to another edition of the Weekly Press Review. Here is what the papers had to say. On the commemoration of women's rights, The Horizon on Monday had a story titled, Woman Defends PhD Thesis on Men as Victims of Gender-Based Violence. Another story featured, Women in Action Against Gender-Based Violence Trains NITOP Inhabitants. Away from that, a story featured, National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism launches new battle against hate speech and xenophobia. Meanwhile, La Voix des Jeunes newspaper had a story, University of Ngaoundéré, Excellence Prize Awards available. Still on this paper, another story titled, Bruda Made in Cameroon, States Support. On Tuesday, the Garden Post had as main headline, Far North, first set of Nigerian refugees voluntarily return home. Another story was titled, Minister Adum Gargum dies. Plus, this other story, Bamenda, 1 dead, others injured as suspected Amba fighters opened fire on buses. The Herald Tribune on its part had as story, Government suspends Sano Water Company for 6 months. And this other story, 2 Cameroonian movies streaming on Netflix. COVID-19 alert was Municipal Updates newspaper's main headline. And on this same paper, another story featured, 1 year after creation, NASLA counts achievements. Cameroon Tribune, meanwhile, had a story, 36th International Women's Day, low-key celebrations. On Wednesday, the Guardian Post had as main headline, March session of Parliament, heads that may roll in Senate, National Assembly bureaus. On this same paper, another story featured, Kogné, dreaded Amba general arrested. Dépêche du Cameroun newspaper had a story, Memvele project, Mvondo Jean Sylvain and co. of Minipat embezzled 69 billion CFA francs. Then on Thursday, Emergence Bilingual Daily had as main headline, Forestry sector, officials of the Ministry of Wildlife accused of corruption. The Guardian Post on its part had as main headline, Eneo, our national shame. Another story featured, Northern Regions, Local Development Minister inaugurates FACOM constructed schools. Cameroon Tribune had another story, Cameroon Commonwealth celebrating 25 years of fruitful ties. Then Cameroon Insider had a story titled, Kribi, 14 students dismissed for sexual immorality. No parliamentary year kicks off today is another story found on this paper. The Post Weekender had a story, Biya designates Social Affairs Minister to launch Etombi Foundation. Sour Wednesday, alleged separatists shut down Bamenda is the Horizon newspaper's main headline this Thursday. Another story featured, Vineboom equips some IDPs with startup business knowledge. Then on Friday, Cameroon Tribune had a story which featured, Limbe, trial of alleged children traffickers begins. The Post Weekender posed this question, will President Biya take COVID-19 vaccine like peers? Added to its main headline, West Cameroon sitting on riches, walking in poverty. Then in sports, this same Post Weekender posed a question, Morocco's refusal to host Under-17 AFCON, prejudice or fairness? That wraps up today's edition of the Weekly Press Review. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned and see you same time next week for another edition.
Thank you very much, Susan Nayonge, for that press review. Next thing you were listening to the press review. I don't know. There are some striking issues there. What really caught your attention this week?
The deteriorating situation in the Northwest, the crisis after 4 years keep popping up, and lives are being lost every day. But sincerely, I think if we're honest, we need to look for a long-lasting solution to this problem before we lose everybody in that part of Cameroon. I think it is an overtalked situation, and those that actually can solve this problem should do it now. We should not wait until 10, 15, 20 years before we bring a real solution to this problem. It's time we actually keep our ego, keep our egocentricness, our self-interest, and put the interest of the country first, and try to see how we can solve this problem. This problem needs just a political solution, because it is a political problem.
Maybe we'll be talking about that shortly when we look at the situation. Permit me also welcome, while Mr. Alenkem is arranging his microphone, I almost say Brother Salas.
Yes. You're right. There's no enemy here, we're all brothers.
Okay, so Brother Salas, you listened to the press review throughout this week. A lot has happened. What actually caught your attention?
It's about corruption. You know, even if it is alleged, 69 billion stolen. I mean, that's a lot of money. Even if it were 100 francs stolen, it's still a lot of money. But for someone to have the courage to steal 69 billion, that's money. Even if you are spending 1 million a day, you would not finish that money in your lifetime. And I wonder why some people will steal that much. And I even wonder why some people will even steal.
Maybe it's because they are also in need of it.
Yeah, but
the man wants are unsatisfied.
The truth is, if that money is invested in hospitals, it serves society. If it's invested in roads, it serves society. But when one person steals it, it serves him and him alone. It doesn't make sense.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lenkem, Richard.
Good afternoon, Abel, and good afternoon to listeners of Royal FM, and to those watching us on Facebook this Saturday afternoon.
You are a philosopher, a journalism lecturer. You came in when we were cross-examining what are some of the striking issues that has actually make news this week in Cameroon. I don't know what caught your attention.
Almost all of what happened this week was of vital importance. Be it COVID taking the lives of people who are considered to be most important. Be it corruption. In fact, the whole of this week has been pregnant with a lot of important events, and they are all relevant to our national issues. And I will equally like to acknowledge and congratulate the Guardian Post for the new outlook and the new way they are attacking our media landscape. They are coming over very strongly in terms of publications, their daily publications, and that of the weekend, the Sunday edition. All that makes up what makes up the news of the week. And if I want to go on particular issues of the week that seems to have been of great interest, it will surely be either the farmer grazer problem at Anwa, or the road accidents between Moyoka and Ekona, where we registered so many deaths, despite the more than 10 control posts between Moyoka and Ekona. And I don't know how, if there are so many road controls, then drivers could still run at that speed to have.
Maybe it's a situation also, you know, for time statistics shows that the Boya Kumba route is one of the deadliest routes when it comes to the activities of the separatist fighters. Sometimes when they fly that route, you need to be on alert because you don't know what can happen, especially around the Malindi area that you and I know very well.
No, the corridor between Boya, my 17 and Kumba can be described as the corridor of death, just as the corridor between Alo and Menji in the BLM is considered as the corridor of death. But once you undertake that road, once you arrive at the destination, you make a sign of the cross. If you don't reach, then your family members will start calling to find out where you have been left.
Now, there's a question I kept for you because of your skill in communication. We saw the Minister of Public Health. A document was released, and the next 2 or 3 hours, he came out to debunk that same document. And this document was calling of officials of that ministry to prepare a document where it will be sent, a bill to be sent to the National Assembly, so that they can ask Cameroonians to obligate to take the COVID-19 vaccine. But when viral Cameroonians had to react, we saw the minister coming back to debunk that same document. In communication, when we see they do the testing role, they send it to the public, they get the opinion, they come. Is it a system? Well, how can we understand that type of communication?
No, you have now forced me to come back to what I didn't want to say. That the week was a COVID week. And the COVID week was the communique of the Prime Minister. It was the several communiques of government ministers. And during the week, your newscast equally focused on this discrepancy between communiques from within communiques from the government officials. I think what's happening at the level of the Ministry of Public Health is that some people, and I will say it at time, I will insist here, some people think that communication simply means to speak well on the microphone, to be eloquent. No, that is not where the problem is. And that is the problem that fell on the Ministry of Public Health. But some people in that ministry, they think that if they speak well on the microphone, they can write well, they are already journalists or they're communicators. That is not the affair.
Okay.
The affair is a matter of experts.
Okay.
At what moment do we allow info to leave to the public? And what type of info? Who verifies the info? That means the gatekeepers. When you find the when you find the doctor, is it Malachi or Maduda? When you find him sweating over communiques, it's simply the fact that they seem to ignore the trained journalists who are at the Department of Communication, and they want to rely on those who they feel are eloquent people who play the role of public relations officers, protocol officers in the ministry, they are not communicators.
Okay.
That department has to censor and filter the information and hand to the minister for him to publish.
Okay.
To publish. It's not a matter of because you have confidence in this man because he speaks well, he has relationship outside there. No.
Okay.
I think the error came from the fact that the Department of Communication in the ministry did not control. That means the gatekeepers.
The information.
Yes, the gatekeepers do not do what we call filtration.
Okay.
Thank you. We got this SMS. Good afternoon to you all in the studio. What actually caught my attention from the press review is the return of Nigerian refugees. I see it as hypocrisy of the highest order. Big occasions are organized to return Nigerian refugees, while Cameroonian refugees are being smuggled from Nigeria. Sorry, method man. You two can do the same. The number is 655-5434 57671-157321. Also joining us this afternoon is Mark Waters Japte. You work with the Guardian Post newspaper, and when Mr. Rankin was talking a while ago of the wonderful work the Guardian Post newspaper is doing, I saw you smiling. Good afternoon to you, Mark Waters Japte.
Good afternoon, ABEL Bela Samari, and good afternoon to Nelson Lambries, good afternoon to Mr. Lemking, and good afternoon to my brother seated just next to me, and good afternoon to all the fervent followers of this program on Royal FM. It's once again another pleasure to be on set on a house which I know so much and I'm familiar. I feel at home back here.
If you are at home, we have Silas who is here with us.
It's a privilege for me to meet him on set.
Okay.
Thank you, Walter.
You wanted to ask something?
Yes, about the work which the Guardian Post has been doing. I think it's just but normal that the lone English daily in this country, which has equally added a new feather,
we need to be the watchdog.
Sunday's edition has to be that credible watchdog. That even if some certain stories go unreported, the Guardian Post, despite all odds, should stand its ground to report them and report them without any bias.
Thank you very much. With you, we are going to be talking about a lot of issues this afternoon. The corruption situations, the new form of conflict that is emerging out of the normal Anglophone crisis. Let us together welcome Promise Akante, who's here to set the ball rolling this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Promise Akante.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Moderator ABEL Bela Samari. Hope your week has been smooth so far. Weekend greetings to all those listening on 88.4 and to those watching live on Facebook on Royal FM Cameroon. A very cordial welcome to all our guests. It is always a thing of great joy having you here with us. Sure, you've had a great week so far. Well, the week has been a busy one with lots of things that got Cameroonians talking, especially the recent farmer-grazer problem in Ngwa subdivision in the northwest region of Cameroon. The news went viral and a lot of saliva and ink has kept flowing since then. The typically nomadic grazier Mbororo population of Ngwa reportedly caused a lot of havoc on their host population, the people of Ngwa village, destroying lives and property. This conflict, however, brings to the limelight a deeper underlying problem, which is probably so deeply rooted that it is almost being accepted as the normal. This is a deep problem of intertribal hatred, a serious intolerance plaguing the people of the same nation. Pretending that this problem can be waved away as an inconsequential phenomenon will be making a monumental mistake. It has to be tackled from the roots and solved completely. There should be no opening for anything to change hands, because in such cases, those who are supposed to resolve the conflicts could just see pieces of land or some cows change hands, and then the decision is influenced. That is a very subtle description of corruption. Talking of corruption, the National Anti-Corruption Commission, abbreviated CONAC in French, is 15 years old. created on March 11, 2006, the body, which went fully operational 12 years ago, is charged with fighting corruption in the country. However, this structure is answerable to the Presidency of the Republic with no powers whatsoever to charge or prosecute defaulters. How do you fight something without being able to met out sanctions? 15 years on, or say 12 fully active years, what balance sheet can CONAC give to Cameroonians? Can Cameroonians say the level of corruption in the country is declining? Is there a green light at the end of the tunnel? Ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners and panelists, this is that platform offered to us all to contribute our fair share to nation building. Let's use it judiciously. A call, a text message, and an honest, uninfluenced opinion is all that we need. Be it on the phone or in this beautiful blue, brightly lit, air-conditioned Studio Thompson of Royal FM 88.4. Say it as it is. This is Topics and Realities.
Thank you very much, Promise Kante, for that write-up. Magwata Japte, I stay with you. You have you did a lot of work for the past 1 month, apparently, if I'm right, concerning a new form of conflict that we have noticed in the Anglophone crisis. That is, at first we had the farmer grazer problem, and the Anglophone crisis came. The farmer grazer problem had to die down for a while, but we have discovered that it is gaining ground these days in another form of conflict. The case study is what is happening in our subdivision of Dungamantu division in the northwest region. And the question I want to ask you this afternoon, what is happening in our subdivision in general?
Abel, the situation in Nwa has been a very disturbing one. Disturbing not for the Anglophone crisis, which is known in the two restive southwest and northwest region, but the farmer, or should I say this intercommunal violence. Through this violence, this kind of conflict has been, it is known for the past in the northwest region, especially with the Fulani settler population against the native of the different villages. But Nwa case, the case of Nwa, for the past weeks has been an epicenter of an escalation of that conflict, that specific farmer grazer conflict. As at now, we have at least 10 persons officially that have been reported dead. But due to the enclave nature of the area found right in one of the
border,
yes, bordering Nigeria,
and so Nigeria and Adamawa
due to the
region.
Enclave nature, all these happenings are not reported within the expected time, because to get people who would give us what has happened the day by day, it's pretty difficult. The communication gap there is such a way. So we have had, what is happening is that group of hired, as I can put it in quote, group of hired Fulanis from Nigeria and from Banyu in the Adamawa part of the country, in collaboration, of course, hired by those in the Nwa subdivision, because they are settled in different villages. We have not less than 42 villages in Nwa, not less than 42 villages in Nwa. And so those who are settled there have, in complicity with those who came in, attacked the locals. And they have attacked the locals, bullied, looted, set houses, markets, churches ablaze. And one of the highest victim has been a former DO who has served this nation. is popularly known as Pa Fenchak, who was killed by purportedly these attackers in his own house in Tong, where he was resting, enjoying his retirement. And so the situation has been very disturbing, especially with the provoking and vexing silence on the government part.
Why would the Fulani community just get up one morning and started attacking people that they have been living for a very long time together?
Yes, Abel, I have been expecting this question. You know, according to our sources.
Yes, from what you did.
Yes, according to our sources, as reported on the Guardian Post in the different editions, these people are it's a kind of revenge because one of theirs was killed, and there is an alleged kingpin.
One of theirs was killed by who?
One of this is the story that an influential member of that community who works in one of the high offices in Yaoundé, the relative or relation was killed, and so he had promised. Sources say he was killed in 2018 by Amber Boys,
the separatist fighters.
In the stronghold around Tong village.
Okay.
Tong village is one of the Yamba villages affected. So, and Tong is one of the stronghold, I think, one of the stronghold of separatist
activities
activities in that subdivision. The other villages are relatively free compared to other areas. So, because his father was killed, not by the natives, because that is where the difference should be stated. The indigenous, the native civilians unarmed, they have nothing to do with the killings of these supposed Fulanese persons, residents in the subdivision. So because they were killed, they had to launch a revenge, which is what has happened. But instead of going after the Amber Boys, which all of us would have hailed, they have gone against the native.
I would like you to mostly use the word separatist fighters.
They have gone against the voices in the bushes. The voices, as you know, a popular minister said. So instead of going against these boys who are in the bushes, they have now turned against the population, the unarmed civilian who welcomed them into their land, gave them houses to shelter, gave them food, and supported them, gave them land for their cattle, because they are mostly into their headers. And so this is what has been transpiring for the past weeks, and the death, the casualties keep rising. I was talking with a pastor, because in this crisis, in this conflict, the pastors there are they are one of the segments that have suffered a lot. They have suffered, they have been attacked, some have been killed. Their churches ransacked and destroyed completely, and the administrator in the areas, according to our sources, say they are aware and they have decided to give it a blind eye, because they claim that these religious men, these men of God, they have been housing the Amber Boys, the separatist fighters. They have been housing them, sheltering them, and even giving other support. But these men of God are refuting the allegations
that we are victims of both sides.
Yes. And you and I will bear with me that the men of God in that area, just like the villagers and elsewhere in the northwest and southwest region, they are helpless before the separatists. Talk less of the military, they are equally helpless before them. So when what we expected from the government or from the local authorities was to have come out clear in the media, because this thing has been circulating. Not only the Guardian Post has been reporting.
The DO has not made any official statement of the
no
situation,
statement.
Or
Abel, when this violence escalated 2 weeks ago, with the killing of a 87-year-old mother, when the population carried the corpse, stormed the streets and the DO's office for explanation or for a statement, they were reportedly sent back to bury the woman, and nothing has been done.
Okay.
And so when the Guardian Post, in doing its findings, contacted the DO, he said he is still to get, or he was still to verify
the information.
This is a local official who lives in Wa and is supposed to master everything in the area. He said he is still verifying, or he's still to get what is happening, and I questioned him to know further if this violence has been happening in his area. He decided not to
answer,
to make any further utterances.
Okay.
And he decided to end the call.
Okay.
This will tell you that they have bad faith in this issue, and we expect that they should come out clear and state it clear.
We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Thank you for that explanation. I move to you, Silas Ngong. You are into conflict resolution. You are a peace student. You listen to what he said. People have been living for a very long time together. They had their differences in the form of farmer grazing problem, which that was being taken care of at their own level. But now a situation arises and they are using it for another stuff. What can we understand in this new wave, or this new issue of conflict that is stemming out from an old conflict? What accounts for this new evolution?
Yeah, if you would ask my opinion like you do, I would say it's just because the farmer grazier problem was never solved. I think it was just put in the fridge and it was being worked on. It was a time bomb looking for the slightest opportunity to explode. And this crisis have come and they have opened up every valve so that the farmer grazer crisis can come back to the limelight, and everyone will be talking about it. So the grievances were not solved. There is a critical issue in conflict resolution which has to do with forgiveness and reconciliation. As long as people do not forgive each other, there cannot be reconciliation. And reconciliation is not a decree. You cannot decree reconciliation or even forgiveness. People must know that people are genuine when they do something wrong and they come to say, I am sorry. And people must know that it is genuine when the other forgives them and there is reconciliation. Those people are bound to live together. They know themselves better than the government does. They know themselves better than any appointed government official to that area knows them. So the thing that I would say is that the people are being instigated, and that this instigation is coming so that they can begin to fight each other. It would weaken their resolve to stay together. It would weaken the community to speak like one, with one voice and like one person, and so that whoever is instigating them will have a leeway to come into the area and institute their power or whatever they want. As far as conflict resolution is concerned, I think that the people need to sit together. Of course, the Fulanis, they have their own quarterheads.
Quarterheads.
The Ados.
The Ados, and the Mwa people, they have their own quarterheads.
With the situation now, can they actually come together to talk things over?
They have
somebody
no
will not be
choice.
struggling to pull the blanket in his own direction.
They
No, it is because you killed my relation. That is why we are retaliating and all those stuff.
They have no choice. Else, whoever is still in Mwa right now and alive would die tomorrow. May die tomorrow. Until you have peace with your neighbor, you are never at peace. No matter how many guns you have, no matter how protected your compound is, you are never at peace. Because you cannot live in seclusion, you cannot live an isolated life. You would need to buy food, you would need to buy water, you would need to go out there and look for help from your neighbors. And if you are not at peace with them, what happens? It's a kind of you take a gun and you shoot your leg with that gun. And so the encouragement is, let the villagers talk between themselves. They know themselves better. The government will come with decrees, the government will come with embargoes, you must do this, the government will come with guns, through the security officers, and because they do not really care, all what they care is that there should be some semblance of peace, no matter what, there should be some semblance of peace. That is not going to help the situation. I would propose that the quarter heads should come together. They should have a reference point. What was it that made them to stay all of this while without, you know, this farmer grazier problem coming to the limelight? They should go to that reference point, and now they should see what has happened now to break that wave of peace, so that there should be war between themselves, and they could go back there, talk over their issues, and come out with a solution that is contextual and is relevant to their situation.
Now, Lambris, I want to find out something from you, which is purely administration. 14 days into a situation, the representative of the head of state, who is the DO, says that he's still doing investigation. Death toll is 10, as Waters just told us. He says he's still doing investigation. Administration, the population. What should we understand from such statement?
If I want to start from, I listened to Mark Waters Njapti carefully, because I never had a deep in depth of what is happening in one subdivision, and I had to listen to your
Silas Ngong,
and I'm trying to understand something. Now, we are in a situation where there is a crisis in the Northwest region, and the administration, which is supposed to be the representative of the state, they are supposed to be the watchdog of the state, to come like a referee between the indigents. If you go to any administrative unit, in every setting, in every jurisdiction, we have three types of leaders. We have the traditional leaders, we have the political leaders, as well as the religious leaders. And the person who comes in to bring a amicable solution if there is infighting in the house is the representative of the state. I don't want to say is the representative of the head of state, no. The representative of the state at that particular point. Now, if you see exactly what is happening, it's okay, you guys can kill yourself, we don't care. We've seen this same situation happening in Wum, when Boro people had to cook up themselves, and they were saying they are going to attack the Agam people, and the video went viral, being sent by somebody who is supposed to be the representative of the state, and the person said, on ne peut rien faire, ils sont tellement fâchés. It was terrible. And this is the same thing that is happening in Moi. But when we see the same situation happening in other parts of this country, automatically they galvanize, they mobilize, and they go there. They say they want to be.
Is it not because they
we
have
saw it happen?
The other people have.
It's not a question of elite. Who is an elite? First of all, no elite will want his people to die. Who is an elite? It should not be because you benefit the power of signature from the head of state, automatically they call you an elite. No. Elite does not mean because you are appointed in a post of responsibility you become an elite. We saw exactly this type of situation in Ebolova. And the Minister of Territorial Administration went there. The governor, the Jews, all of them. And they said they want to bring
an interministerial delegation.
Yes, they want to bring a lasting solution between the Bulu people and the Bamoons.
We saw how
but today the Moro people they are trying to kill people from Moi, and the state is saying we are. What investigation are you doing? Sincerely, we are not fools. We are more than enlightened today. We know exactly their level of bad faith. They don't care about the people who speak the language I do speak. We can die. Nobody cares. If I commit a crime as an Anglophone, I will be treated different when somebody who speaks the other language commits the same crime.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm giving you evidence, proof, and fact. It happened in Ebolova. All of us saw it. We witnessed it. We lived it. And it is there. You can go and check. Immediately they went there and they had to prepare a dinner and call people and say, no, we want peace between the Bamoons and the Bulu people.
And some of the
why is it not happening now in Moi? Why is it not happening in Moi? What is happening? We need not to pretend. We need to say it the way it is. We need to speak out the reality. Are they telling us that we are less Cameroonians? And if there is a problem between the Mboro people and the people of Moi, and the jury is saying that, I don't know, they are still doing an investigation. If a human life is involved, it's a sacrilege. We need to do something very, very fast. in order to solve this problem. It's like they say, okay, it's a divide and rule situation. Let them kill themselves, and then at the end of the day, we'll come and then try to pretend as if we want to bring the state does not function like that, except the state of my country is denying her responsibility.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Marcus.
Afternoon. Long time.
Thank you very much. We are together.
I want to tell my brother that this is what happened in Mwa. People are saying that it's the people from Nigeria, that is Mboro from Nigeria, that have done the act. That is how Congosa is moving, that we are getting from people. That is Nigeria people that they have done the act. So we don't know the truth.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ase. Yes,
I really wish
something.
I could get.
He says his name is Marcus.
I really wish I could get maybe his point
see, that
right
is,
to the end.
Yes.
But you will not say that all this media reporting about the issue with almost the same fact that it's ESA or Congosa. Even when you have an MP of the area giving the same fact, you say it's ESA Congosa. I don't understand what.
Maybe he has a better version.
How?
Maybe we'll be glad.
That is what I was expecting to hear, his own versions. And Abel, this situation in the past few days, as of a report which I had on the 9th of this month, these armed, because they are well armed, these armed Fulani men, they attacked Gom, they attacked Bom. Gom is my village, where I originate from. They attacked Kwak, and they attack Kot. These are some of the villages that were recently attacked. And the people were chased out. We have areas like Kwak. This is where some of the villagers from the other, like Kot and Yang, had run into to seek refuge and came around Kwak. They were further attacked and chased out. So the people, we have images. There are images, evidence. And these people had to run to the DO's office, the DO's office in Mwa. But according to our sources, they were still sent back.
By the DO?
By the DO. They were dismissed.
But why is the DO not giving this intervention, Mr. Lenke? What are we understanding that the situation is some people say their political hands are using the advantage of the crisis to look for their own wins and caprices. We have a situation, but everything is mute. Lambris even talks of something which is very peculiar. But how can we understand that in a situation like this, Silas said it was unsolved problem, but something that is being there, that's died down, it is resurfacing, and nobody is saying anything. The elites are quiet over the situation. The government is quiet over the situation. What can we understand? Where are we heading to with the crisis and the situation like this?
I will begin from the time Kayatumi was kidnapped. When he was kidnapped, after 14 days, he gave an interview at CRTV. And he made a faulty declaration. I still think that declaration was not well thought of. Probably Pa was deceived because of his age to have believed in what he was told. He told Cameroonians that the resistance and the struggle in the Northwest consisted of about 20% of indigenes and 80% of foreigners, Nigerians. And he went ahead to say of the fighters that he could recognize on ground, there were 2 from Cameroon and about 8 on 10 from Nigeria. This goes straight to match with what Marcus, who I just called us, is saying. Like Congosa is saying that it is
the
Nigerian foreigners. But however, the question at stake remains that the crisis has been politicized and the farmer grazier problem is being used now in the second phase. We are in the second phase of the Anglophone problem. And I said it 2 years ago that the second phase will be bloodier than the first phase. When it was gone in front of the gun of the amber and the gun of the military, the number of deaths was so low. But today that we're in the second phase, which is a matter of either score settling or inter-tribal or religious or interpersonal differences, the death toll is very high, both within the military, both within the civilians, and both within the communities. So the crisis has moved to a very complex area. We are now in the complex zone. And the warmongers, there are two terms that have come in the crisis. Warmongers used by President Biya and the backleggers used by the Amber Boys. These two terms have come in to complicate the situation. It began in Womb when the Mbororo were mounted to fight the Agam people. They were armed.
Who is giving them this?
They were armed by whosoever.
There is a ministerial decision from the Minister of Territorial Administration banning the use of light weapon in the northwest and southwest region. That is, the population is not even required to hold machetes.
No, I will not cut you short.
Where are these people coming from?
No, the
question. Why have this law?
The question is very, very simple. In 2019, the head of state used the word warmongers. And the warmongers are those who enjoy from the economic benefits of the war. Now, the most authorized minister told us that our frontiers were under strict and serious control in such a way that heavy firearms could not longer get into the country. They will find that the Amber Boys have left from then guns to AK-47. You know what it means? Each time the government goes on TV and brandishes then guns that they capture from the Amber camps. Today the Ambers no longer use camps. They are as mobile as the mobile police in those days. They don't stay anywhere. They hit and go, and it continues. So you find that what is taking place in Nwa, the SDO have not been able, the SDO and the governor, and even the senior judicial officer of Nungamanto, if they could even apply what we call decentralization, which have been calling by the mayor to give us the real facts. It is the mayor who knows who is the quarter head of this place. It is the mayor who masters the region, who masters even the subdivision. Not the DO. The DOs are appointed, they come and go.
And Mr. Lincoln, since you just cited the mayor, let me just come in to add that when this issue erupted, I think 4 days after, when I called the mayor, he told me, the mayor of Nwa, he told me that he was confused about the recent happening, but confirmed the number of deaths as at the time 5. So you find a situation where the mayors are helpless, and the sole authoritative or authority that can swing into action in this area is the DO or the senior divisional officer of Ndonga Mantung. And Abel, with your permission, I would just like to read an evaluation which was done, an evaluation of the atrocities in Nwa, which was done by a group of elders in Tong. They went around the different villages attacked to count the damages, and they were equally pastors in that group. And this is the report which they listed, that in Tong there were 5 villages listed as affected as of the 4th of March. As of the 4th of March. Ntong, Yang, Pham, Tim, and Sam. Now, when you go down to the damages, houses burned. You have Ntong 1 and Ntong 2, 34 houses. In Yang, we have 19 houses burned. Pham, 8 houses. Tim, 28. Sam, we had 7 houses, making a total of 94 houses. That is as of the 4th of March.
Now, Mawata chapter.
Let me go further to say that the churches, we had a church in Tong, 1 in Tim, and 1 in Yang that were completely destroyed.
Now, the question is this: when you also read from the Fulani people, they are accusing the people of Nwa that when the separatist fighters were killing them, Nobody came out to talk. Nobody even condoled with them. Some people went celebrating that their enemy has been defeated, and now they are in what they call the retaliation phase. And given the fact that they have the right given by the government to organize vigilante group, and it is the work of their vigilante community that is doing. What are the elites, what are the community now struggling to do? What are they organizing on how to solve this issue? We are moving out.
We are not supporting what is happening, whether the fact that somebody first of all killed in Bororo or the other way around. And whether they were reported or not, it doesn't guarantee that they should wage or launch a war against a community that hosted them, that welcomed them. And so the people of Yamba, the people are
cut your shot is two wrongs don't make a right.
Exactly, that's what we are saying.
It's not because you cut my head that I have to cut yours.
Yes.
Else everybody's head will be cut.
So and that is why you have the people who originate from that area out of it. And if you listen to them talk, they are filled with so much anger that there is, if the government does not take caution in this matter.
But the SDO for Cambia has organized a meeting on the 19th and 20th of March.
Well, it's still a meeting, and we might expect a black or a white smoke at the end of it. So it's two-way thing. And let me also point out the fact that majority of these people, of these Yamba people, they are very skeptical about the administration, because on several occasions they have presented this matter to the authorities, especially when we had this
farmer grazer problem.
When the grazers or the cattle cause destruction in the natives' villages or their farmlands, and the matter were carried to the authorities in the area, little was done to get these people, settle them for the damages caused. Some played Pontius Pilate in the whole issue. Authorities, DOs have come and gone, but that situation has been left unresolved. So it is high time that maybe the government right here in Yaoundé should wade into this matter so that we can stop the killing. The number of deaths already in the southwest and the northwest region has been very alarming since 2018.
Okay.
Why do we allow this further this other crisis to worsen the situation when they claimed, like the governors of the southwest and northwest claim, that things are getting to normal, and we are hearing more reports about killings?
Thank you. Before we find out how can we solve this conflict, let me take this message. It says that good evening. The capture of an Amba general shows how Cameroon legal and patriotic armed forces are seriously working. I still advise the rest of Amba terrorists to better drop their guns and rush to Atanganji and fight Yongo Francis special service, and that I think this is coming from Kambi. Promise.
I really wish that message could get to the boys in
we are going to love. We are going to love.
Unfortunately, they are not connected. Maybe to
promise we will love if you try to give us ample solution, and rather than trying to tag one or two people. We are talking about a conflict situation, and our interest this afternoon is how we can solve this conflict that is mandating from the original conflict. We have discovered that things that have been hidden, unsolved problem in our community are resurfacing today, and they are consuming the life of our people. Mr. Lincoln do talk about the fact that we have scores settling, we have intercommunal problems that are coming out. It started in womb, nothing was done. It is moving in one. We don't know the next community, and that is why I want to ask you, Ngong Salas, if we are about to solve this problem. You said earlier that if they had to come back, is because some people were not satisfied. So if we want to solve this problem once and for all, so that the two communities live as one people, where should we start from?
I think that's a very good question, and this is a question of the heart. Peace starts from the heart. it doesn't start from outside. Before you have external peace, you have to have peace, inner peace first of all, before you begin to search and to seek for external peace. So the people of the two communities, except that they have decided that they cannot stay together, if that piece of land,
the two community can sit without a third person coming in to break the peace deal for them.
But what I'm saying is, as long as the two communities must cohabit, that
and
part
in this case, they are
of
bound.
this country, they are bound to look for every solution to stay at peace with one another. I think they even intermarry. If I'm not for
there is a lot.
Exactly, they intermarry. They go to the same markets. They go to the same mosques. They go to the same churches. They have the same activities. They should make sure that the external or the third person who is coming in for their good and not for their bad. Because usually the person who comes in, like the mediator, if he is not really God-fearing and is not very professional, he will only fight for his own interest. No one ever wrote history to favor you. It's always to favor them who come in. And therefore the people of Mwa must sit down together, do a diagnosis of all of their problems and their issues, and then they need to make sure that they are honest and they speak the truth, because if you do not speak the truth, no matter how much the truth hurts, it will continue to pursue you. And because you did not fix it, it would resurface maybe 20 or 30 years after. You speak the truth, you ask for forgiveness, there has to be reconciliation, and the people have to come together. And one of the things that we are talking about here, about elites, elected officials, I'm very sorry, I'm very skeptical, because if you really go to Mwa, you asked how many people voted the people that you call mayors, you'll be surprised that maybe not even up to 10% of the population voted them. So they don't really recognize those people, those voted elites or officials,
as the voice of the mass.
The voices of the masses, like Walters is saying, and as their representative, that kind of thing. So that's the more reason why I would prefer that they should go to their traditional rulers, they go to their pastors, they go to their imams, and these people can sit together and come up with a solution that would be contextual to their area and also meet the needs of the people. And when this solution is appropriated by everybody, it will be difficult for them to be instigated, because they are bound to live together in peace with one another. So they should pray, whether you are praying to Allah or you are praying to God or you are praying to an ancestor, whatever. There has to be prayer. You pray, you decide in your heart that you are letting the bygones be bygones, and that a new day has come, and that you are ready to forgive and cohabit with your brother and with your sister, whether it's a Muslim or it's a Christian or an animist or traditionalist. That needs to happen. Then, even before you know it, they will come out with solutions. We cannot force solutions down their throats, because if you want to force it, it will not take care of their context. So they are the ones to come out with their own solutions that they can maintain. And I'm telling you, when that society is one, even the government will not be able to come to dictate what it wants. Even the separatist fighters, they will not be able to function in that community. But because there's this divide and rule, everything goes. It's a free field for everybody, and therefore you find this kind of killings. And as long as those people are bound to stay together, they need to come together to make peace. We have been calling the government of this nation to a round table, you know, with the separatist fighters and the government, so that this thing can, you know, be finally laid to rest. Unfortunately, that has not really happened. In all honesty, that has not happened. And until that happens, we would be in this trouble together. And whether you like it or not, I think that is where all of this would end up.
Mr.
Around
Lenke,
the round table.
do you think that it's possible with the warmongers and the leg issues to really adhere to what Salas is trying to put out as a possible solution?
Unfortunately, what is happening between the highlands of the Northwest, I call it the highlands, that is taken from Lake Kouf, that is from Bafmen to Lake Nyos, up to Nkambe and down to Mwa, what's happening in those highlands, there should be an evil hand behind it. And that evil hand, once detected, it will be the first step to solve the problem. And that is why we are talking about a ceasefire to the Anglophone crisis. A ceasefire is not an end to a war. A ceasefire is merely a period of observation and strategy making. So apparently at the moment, seeing the period of Abraham's and all those SGOs that have passed through Adam Menchum, Bui, Ondonga, Mantong, even Momo, the issue of the indigenous and the grazier problem has been there, and none of those SGOs, be it Fayengo, who was there, be it Abraham, who became governor, they became ministers and the rest, and they are today the big men of Cameroon. None of them offered a valuable solution. And today, one of the parties, in quote, I don't want to decide the party, seems to have gotten their Messiah. And that Messiah, as we are speaking today, those who understand the language that's being coded, they should tell him, at least, to know that when people are welcome in a place, the Mboros are nomadics. They are welcome in Momo, welcome in Menchum, in Bui, and in Dongamantong. And I'm part of Gogotunja, and even part of Mezam, the whole of Northwest.
Right, in Boyo.
Well, and even in Boyo. And I think there have been a lot of cultural exchanges, intermarriages, and the rest. And it will be better for us to maintain this harmonious atmosphere than to create more tension because some individuals want to acquire more land. Because the issue here is that it is a land issue. The problem here is a land issue. People want to grab land from the indigenes by bringing in these conflicts. Because at the end, when they were claimed that many of them were killed, and before they were killed, the children that were now orphans, their parents were grazing on these highlands. They should be giving it to them, and then somebody behind now will own it by running to Yaoundé and making land
solution, or we can come up with intercommunal meetings to see if we can solve this issue.
We are in a state. The state has powers than any other community or whatever. The states need to stand up and take its responsibility. Even if the Mboro guys or the Fulanis are coming from Nigeria, it's no excuse. If that is even the case, it would be more terrible and shameful to us. That people come from another country and they invade our country and commit atrocities and they go free. It means we are not in a country. A country needs to have its sovereignty. If it happens like that, it means Cameroon is just a jungle when people can come in and they do exactly what they want and then go without being scot-free. But sincerely, the government of my country and through the administration that is supposed to be neutral, the administration of my country is supposed to be technocrats and neutral. They don't need to belong to any political party, any conflict, whatever, but they need to do their job as people who actually love their citizens. But what is happening was, sincerely speaking, our country or the administrative or the administrators in that part of Cameroon, in that division, in that subdivision, they need to stand up as one, look for a lasting solution, bring the two indigenes on board and try to see exactly what happened and then look for a lasting solution so that this atrocity should not repeat itself.
We are moving out of it.
Yeah,
one word.
The way out is for, first of all, the government to have good faith.
Let me take this call online. Hello?
Hello, Abel.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Method Man.
Yes. I extend greetings to all the panel members on board.
On their behalf, thank you very much.
Yes. Concerning the situation that is going on in Nwa under Dongamantun Division, I want to say here that we are speaking as if we are speculating. When I say we are speaking as if we are speculating, I want to point it out here very clearly that within the time when the crisis got to a certain level, the military understood that the Mbororos were somehow resistant or somehow like, I don't know how to put it, that is not falling to the bullet of the ambers. And for that reason, the military co-opted the Mbororos into the military corps to be helping them to move around and fight the ambers. And as we have it there now, let me tell you that Mbororos have been empowered, given guns, and they move around and terrorize the population, and most especially those who own cattle so that they seize it. I have an uncle in Mbot whose cattle was recently carted away by the Mbororos, and it is being done under the supervision of the military. So we should not talk as if we are speculating. The military is responsible for it because the Mbororos are not acting in space. We presume that military is everywhere to protect the masses. And if Mbororos come and they are doing it, they are not doing it in space. They are being protected. Okay. I raise my case.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are moving out of it.
I was about saying that there is need, first of all, for the government to have good faith to end the crisis, because many and more lives are perishing. Secondly, I think the government has to fling into the situation to disarm this group, because it's not as if they hit and go away. They hit and they are there. They are occupying these villages. And secondly, there is need for an intercommunal dialogue to see how they can resolve this issue. And equally, the two communities need to understand that they must forgive each other. They must forgive each other. They are bound to live together. Whether they are the Yama people are the hosts and the Mboro people are settlers, they are bound to live together.
That is the message, that of living together. When we come back, we'll take you to our main topic. If you are just tuning in, the program is Topics and Realities, coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. Our access code this afternoon is 655-5434 5767157321. And we'll take you to our main topic. 15 years after the creation of the National Anti-Corruption Commission in Cameroon, what is your stake? What balance sheet can you put for this structure? Mr. Lenkem Richards.
The balance sheet of Kunak, as you can rightly say, is a mixed feeling. When Kunak was created in 2006, many people had the hopes that it was going to do something better. But unfortunately, when we went through the text, we found that it was just like the Ministry of Defense that depended on the presidency, the police that depended on the presidency, the Supreme State control that depend on the presidency. And then since then we have had a lot of reports, annual reports submitted by the Master Game Commission, giving account of what they saw and witnessed within the year. But unfortunately the presidency has failed to respond, simply meaning that CONAC, as it was created, the Anti-Corruption Commission was created to fight corruption, quite all right, but they were not given the necessary powers to do it. Firstly, they don't even have powers to carry it to the court and the rest. And this is the main weakness of CONAC. CONAC can only denounce, and since it can only denounce, it remains a toothless bulldog. And that is more reason why corruption, since we became champion in 1999 and 2000, corruption is on the increase and has been what sustains the regime to exist. And from this first appraisal of the facts, you find that CONAC has not been able to satisfy the popular aspiration, despite the other arms of or the other commission that we have in Cameroon to fight against corruption. CONAC is still acting below standard. CONAC has been able to tell us that, if I take a very simple example, the issue of the Olympic Stadium, CONAC is silent. Lompanga,
that is where they should have invested.
Yes, Lompanga, we had nothing. Imagine that somebody told us that we could be able to, that we went to make a hydroelectric dam at 1,000 billion. Nowhere in Africa has such a project ever been realized. It has been done, and at the moment we don't have lights. The very person who was in control found himself escaping from Cameroon and was caught in a neighboring country. When he was brought back, he could bring us back money in cash to the tune of 1,700 million. In fact, I think the head of state and the regime, they need to rethink CONAC. They need to rethink CONAC. If CONAC is not given sufficient powers to act, of course they will never give, because we are in a French administration. You know, the French administration depends on what we call public administration, and public administration depends on what we call appointment and nomination. And once people are appointed and nominated without independence, they claim that the country has three arms of government: legislative, executive, and the judiciary. But at the end, we find that the executive dominates all. Court's action are dictated from the executive. Parliament can never propose any bill. You can see for the past 4 years, 70 parliaments across the world have talked about Anglophone crisis. Our own parliament has not been sneezed.
Has been hand clapping.
They have not been sneezed. They have not been coughed about it. In fact, so you find that CONAC per se, as we say, CONAC still CONAC to become CONAC, that should be. We need to wait for 2035.
Now, Mark Waters jabbed there. Why create CONAC?
You know, the administration has always wanted to.
Well, we have so many structures to fight against corruption. The Supreme State Audit is there. Every ministry has a structure to fight against corruption from all the different ministries. Why then create CONAC?
I think that it could be one of its diplomatic tactics, in the sense that the country want to have a good reputation, and so they have to show people that they are working, they are taking measures to see how they can alleviate their country. They can build a good reputation for them. Now, when they create such structure, and maybe in international conference or program, you brandish, you raise up that as a measure by which you're actually fighting the ill, and you are acclaimed, and people think that, oh, you are actually working. But
so to understand you,
deep down there, the structure is there to as a window dressing measure.
To understand you, CONAC is just a camouflage.
You know, like every other commission in this country, they have little work. Most of those appointed there actually armchair officials who remain there and have nothing as work on the field. Citizens hardly feel their impact. Since CONAC came into existence, my opinion is that they have actually been chasing shadow rather than the object. You see, like, they have been launching the campus free or corruption-free campuses in the different state universities. Yeah, it's true that we have corrupt practices in this area, but that is not where the main thieves of this country are. We have them in government offices. Why not go after them? Why go
they
after
have been doing that.
It's like you.
CONAC have been doing that. We have been seeing reports telling us that this official has embezzled this huge sum of money. This officer, they have been doing that. They have been denouncing.
ABEL, CONAC is being used as a structure to clamp down on those regime agents or regime members, officials who become a threat to its existence. Take the case of Marafa. Take the case of Inoni. Take the case of Antangana and the likes. Mendoza, they are there. So it's only when they see you as a political opponent that Konak comes after you. We have people in Mr. Lemken talked about the Olembe structure. Why has an investigation not been launched towards that? Cameroonians have been calling for an assessment, an evaluation, investigation into the construction of the stadium and the complex in its entirety. What is causing that? The project for how many years now has not been completed? We have money, yet we prefer to go and borrow. To borrow from foreign agencies and nations for our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the next generations to come suffering in order to pay for this. It shows that the Konak in itself is just a bulldog. When it was created in 2016, in 2006, how many years did it take for the members to be constituted? How long? You see that political will is not there to arm this structure to do the work it is supposed to do. It is not supposed to denounce. It is to go after them, get them. And secondly, or maybe another point to raise, is that the mission assigned to it should have been I don't know, they should act like, or it should maybe enacted by law, the National Assembly, where those found guilty of corruption, embezzlement, their properties be seized. That is the kind of advocacy we want to see from Konak. To advocate through the parliament for such a bill to be passed, where if an official steals whether 1 million or 2 billion, all his properties are seized. It will scare so many.
We have seen the government doing that with people like Polika Baba, where some of their properties were being seized. Has it helped to fight against corruption?
Why is it only those who have become political opponents when you are no longer useful to the regime?
Okay.
Why?
Now, Lambris Nelson, why create Konak when we cannot empower the structure with good laws?
There is something in Cameroon that actually baffles my imagination and makes me at times, I wonder if we are in a jungle or in a banana republic or a real country. Now, you talked about Konak and you also talked about corruption. Now, the government is trying to fight against corruption in this country by creating a structure known as
the
Konak.
Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes, it's not only Konak. We have the Supreme State Control.
Yeah.
We have the Audit Bench. We have so many units in almost all the ministries.
They
are fighting against.
They have a department or a commission to fight against corruption in that ministry.
Now, Konak is just coming as an additional structure to waste taxpayers' money. Whatever I think Konak is doing, Konak is answerable to the presidency of this country. All her reports are sent to the presidency. And if the presidency deems it necessary, then they can react on the report brought to them by Konak. Konak cannot arrest, Konak cannot file a lawsuit against somebody who has been alleged accused of embezzlement, of corruption, of siphoning, or of mismanagement of public funds. Konak cannot do that. They give all the reports to the presidency because they are directly linked to the presidency. But again, sincerely speaking, ABEL Bela Samari, fighting corruption in our country is not the interest of the state. The government of my country does not want to fight against corruption. If you read the penal code of our country, it is well clear. If you embezzle more than 500,000 francs CFA, if you are proven beyond reasonable doubt that you actually took that money from the state coffers, you'll be sent to jail for life. It is there. Now, the state or the government of my country, through the president, created another unit, calling it the Special Criminal Tribunal. And in the Special Criminal Tribunal, it is spelled out that they charge people who embezzle more than 50 million francs CFA. What are you telling people? And now, the person who embezzled more than 50 million francs CFA, if you shamefully accept that you took the money and you reimburse that money, you'll be set free. You enjoy your civic and your civil right. Why somebody who stole 500,000 francs will rot in jail? What are you telling Cameroonians? That would be more preferable for you to steal 50 million francs CFA than stealing 500,000 francs. Because if you do that, you'll be brought to the normal court, the court with appellate jurisdiction, from the court of first instance right up to the Supreme Court. But if you see 50 million, you'll be treated specially in a special criminal tribunal. It doesn't end there. It is very clear that the Minister of Justice and Keepers of the Seals, on his own discretion, can decide and stop a procedure towards somebody who has been accused of stealing money. And it ends there with the judge, with the proceeding, with the judge having nothing to say. It means that if I actually siphoned money from my country and I'm sent to a special criminal, it means automatically you've lost your civic right. It means you cannot be voted, or you cannot vote, or you cannot enjoy some post of responsibility. We've seen it in this country where a minister was alleged of embezzling money from the state coffers, was sent to Konengi and was still under trial, and that minister was discharged and acquitted, and the minister left prison and was doing campaign in a political party. What type of a society are you telling the senior, the junior ones and people who live in this? There is no iota of seriousness for the state of my country to fight against corruption. What they do is they encourage corruption, and from the moment you have taken a lot of worth, and you want to start getting interest, as Waters was saying, to a political post, or maybe some post of a lot of power. They come now and then they trap you. It's like the state is doing that deliberately. They want people to embezzle and you stay quiet. If you embezzle and you say something that is against the person who is at the helm, and automatically ask you, do you know that where I kept you, you were stealing money? And if you dare again, I will open your file and you'll be sent to Konengi. But sincerely speaking, the government and the state of my country is not having any interest to fight against corruption. Because if that was the case, they could have just applied what is in our penal code, rather than creating structures that are just wasting taxpayers' money. It is still written there. There is still firing squad. It is not removed. And if you steal 500,000 francs, ABEL BELA SAMARI,
can we take this call online?
Yes, of course.
Hello? Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, good afternoon, panel.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, I'll use the adjective stimuli. Corruption is stimuli a government policy in our country, because there's no way to fight it. And David was saying, the article in our constitution, why not implement it after all these years in power? So it is seemingly a policy of the regime. Why? It is giving them to stay in power. When you allow people to steal, you keep them down and you control them, and they do things for their interest. So it is a policy, even though it is not official, it is the policy of the regime, because you cannot allow people to be stealing like that at the detriment of the nation, at the detriment of the citizens, at the detriment of everything. So it is seemingly a government policy. So that is my contribution.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Nessie had
I was saying that if the state actually wanted to fight corruption, CONAC, NIF, state, Supreme State control, all those things were not necessary. They could have just applied the law that is in our penal code, and sincerely speaking, those who are occupying government offices and posts of responsibility, those who have access to government money, and then they will learn a lesson, seeing that somebody took 500,000 francs, stealing, let me say exactly what the listener was saying, stealing from the government coffers, and that person has been slammed a life sentence in jail, and people will learn from that. They will not do that, because the law is there to bring correction in in the society, and also to scare people who have bad intention or evil intention. But if you do the way the state is doing, and you say, okay, people will not see any reason for not dipping their hands into the state coffers and taking exactly what they're doing. We see a whole government in prison, but people still do terrible things. They still steal money from the government coffers more than even the people that are in jail, and they are moving in the society, and our children are seeing them as model. You ask somebody, what will you want to do in life? I want to go to Inam, and then I'll be appointed somebody, and then I construct my houses. Sincerely speaking, young Cameroonians, if they take thieves to be models in the country, where are we heading to? And then I don't think this is the type of spirit. If the state actually wanted to fight corruption, there are canons, and there are actually mechanisms of which they can use, and they will fight the corruption effectively. Why are they not applying the Article 66 of the Constitution? You declare your assets when you get office, and you declare the asset when you're going out of office. It's very simple.
Greetings to you all in the studio. Thank God that our lawmakers are in Yaoundé. The vaccination exercise should start with them, and then the judiciary, and then lastly the executive. The rest of the population can come later. That is preaching by example. Baye Obasi, who sends that one, he was reacting maybe to the press review. He still says that he just got an information that one of the embezzlers is dead, and how are we going to get back our money? Now I move to you, Ngong Silas. We are talking about corruption. And when we look at corruption in Cameroon, it has stemmed out from maybe places where you could not believe that it should be there. We have corruption these days in the church, in the market. Everybody is just thinking of the little opportunity to manage money and maybe have his own share. But we had a structure like the Anti-Corruption Commission that was supposed to create fear in the minds of the Cameroonian people. Maybe to be able to control or make people to realize that we should be patriotic when it comes to state fund. But we are not seeing the structure. And Mr. Charles Mela says that it is a government governance policy, a policy that they are using to govern the Cameroonian people. Should we say corruption in Cameroon is still where we are today because we have weak structures, institutions to reinforce this?
Yes, I think that we have weak institutions rather than having very strong institutions and weak individuals. On the contrary, we have very strong individuals and weak institutions, and in such an atmosphere you cannot really fight corruption. But because we are here to also educate, the Anti-Corruption Commission of Cameroon was created actually to investigate and to denounce. If we go by that, I would say that they have been doing their job very well. They have been investigating, they have been denouncing. Then the people that have to take over from where they have landed, investigation and denunciation, have not been doing their job. And that is where the problem comes. Cameroonians today are no more afraid of Kondengi. They are no more afraid of prison, because if you steal 50 billion...
But should that be the case?
If you steal, of course, that's what we are saying, that the institutions are very weak. If you steal 50 billion today, you know very well you would be judged and sentenced to Kondengi. But the government would give you an apartment in Kondengi, would feed you, would give you electricity, water,
with AC,
with
and
AC, everything. But then you will still be managing your affairs out of Kondengi, in spite of the fact that you are in Kondengi. We have situations where people have married in Kondengi, right? And so people are no more afraid to get imprisoned, especially that, you know, Nelson just said that with the embezzlement of 500,000 francs, you are put in prison for life. But if you embezzle 50 billion or 50 million upwards and you come and you say you are sorry, the money can be retrieved and you will be liberated. It gives us the impression that, you know, the government is against the lower category of people, the people who are not the white collar thieves, because the white collar thieves are the ones that can steal that amount of money because they are the ones that manage that amount of money. The others who are not the white-collar thieves may not be able to manage even $1 million or $2 million in their departments or in their different areas of responsibility. And therefore, if you steal 500,000 francs, you are in prison forever. You would rot in prison. But if you steal 50 million and above, you just come and you say, I'm sorry, you give back the money and you are free. So who are they actually out to kill?
The
poor Cameroonian
people.
And the white collar people, they would continue to do their business. Like you said, if every Cameroonian who is appointed could declare their assets at the time they are taking office and also declare their assets at the time they are leaving office, corruption would actually be curbed in Cameroon. But I would like to say CONAC, actually, the main mission of CONAC is to investigate and to denounce. They have been doing it. The other arms of government who are to take over from there, judge and then sentence.
Will be retrieve the money.
Exactly. They are not doing their job. And like you said, corruption is in every fabric of society right now, whether you are even in church. But then there is a pastor that I heard of, a Presbyterian pastor that I like so much. I'll not give his name actually. But each time you ask him to come and bless your house that you have built, he has to ask you, where did you get the money to build that house? Can you prove to me your source of income? And if you cannot prove the source of income, he will not do it, because he's not encouraging corruption. Somebody in our country today, just because he has bribed to go to ENAM, comes out and he builds mansions in less than 5 years. You need to ask yourself questions. But where's that money coming from? He's not a business person, right? Especially that, for civil servants, it's forbidden to do business. He's not a business person, but he's building those mansions and in his name. And everybody is like, oh, yeah, he's, developing the area, developing the country and things like that. But where is he having that money? And because they are not being followed up, imprisoned, and even seized, all those assets seized, it encourages others to steal as well. You're right. If I thief and nothing happens to me, then it encourages you to steal as well, because nothing would happen to you and things like that. And so I think, people that really love this country can make it without stealing. God, the God that I believe, can give you a house and feed you and clothe you and heal you without a job, if only you trust him. And therefore, I think that, the solution would not come from the government, but the solution would come if every Cameroonian would turn to God, fear him wholeheartedly, and believe that, all what they need, God can provide. And by faith, live your life honestly, live on your bread honestly, than live on salad and all the best and the goodies that come from out there.
Or the bonvitas.
Dishonestly. So that's my take.
Mark Waters, if you have to advise or propose on possible ways that we can empower this anti-corruption commission, that is CONAC, to be more powerful than what we have today, to be more offensive in the fight against corruption than what we have today, what would that be?
There is no way CONAC can actually get into full action to have very resounding results if there is no political will from the most powerful house in this country. It will depend if CONAC will have to become the force to reckon with. It will depend on the presidency, and only through the presidency that they can be given that visa for that structure to be restructured, taking into considerations the different advice and recommendations from transparency experts. Experts have equally called on the government to implement Article 66, like Lambris highlighted. What is causing this article to be ignored for several decades today? This is a constitution which has been it is part since the creation of as old as Cameroon. What hinders us from implementing? So the body, CONAC cannot do beyond what it is given. They say garbage in, garbage out. So the missions that were assigned to it, the resources that were assigned to it, it can only work within that periphery, within the space created for it. And so if it should meet Cameroonian expectations, it has to go back. The powers has to come from the presidency, which is not what ought to be. We're talking about the different arms of the state. There is the executive, there is the judiciary, and there is the legislative. Why are these different arms not almost equal, or why are they not equal?
Or independent?
Independent equally. Why should we have a situation where a minister who is under the executive arm would dictate on lawmakers? You cannot question your minister. You have to write it and submit it, and the house, whether the president of Senate or maybe the House Speaker approves of it, for you to question, to ask that specific question to the minister. Why is it done that way? Why can you not ask your minister about the Lompanga or about the Olembe Stadium, and they give you
but we saw the parliament through the SDF, the Samsung gates. We have seen the parliament coming over very strong.
Coming
situation
very
like that.
strong in what way? How?
The Monchipo gate, the Tito Edwards. We have seen the parliament questioning government action, and some of these ministers were taken and being thrown into prison.
Abel, I will still go back to my point, which I said any minister, or any former minister who has gone to prison, it's simply an act of political settlement or elimination, to eliminate them because of their interest. There is nobody who has gone to prison from the government because of the crime, because many of them are, of course.
And there are some who will even say clearly that being charged with the embezzlement, they say they cannot go to the court until somebody gives.
CONAC has been inviting ministers on corruption allegations, but they refuse to turn out.
We are not refusing what you are saying. Lambris, I move to you with this technical question, which is that which is more of the legal stuff when it comes to the issue of empowering CONAC to be more powerful. If the instruments are to be put in place, do you think that if we give CONAC that power, that legal instrument, they will be able to fight corruption in this country, making the body independent, where they have their own gendarmes and police, maybe their own prison yards? Are we not going to have all Cameroonians behind bar?
I would not like to give the function of the judiciary to CONAC. Okay. CONAC is not a court. And if you go by the legal proceedings in our country, all the state councils, they have the duty to question you, Abel. Okay. If they see you, they know that you're working with Royal FM. They imagine your salary, and they see you building a house of 4-5 stories. All the state councils in all our classical courts. Here I'm talking about the Court of First Instance. We have 360 of them in number in all the subdivisions of this country. We have the High Court, 58 in all the divisions. And we have the Court of Appeal, 10 in number, and the Supreme Court divided into 3 benches: the administrative bench, the judicial bench, as well as the audit bench. We don't need CONAC to fight the corruption. A state council in his jurisdiction or her jurisdiction have a right to question any citizen. They call you for questioning. It's not like you go to prison directly. Okay, where do you get this money from? How much is your salary? How much are you saving? How much is this house going to cost? And if they discover that there is something wrong, it doesn't mean that you must work with the government, but the state council have that duty to perform that function in her jurisdiction. They don't need to give CONAC the powers you're saying. If they're doing that, it means that they are trying to make CONAC to be a court. We have enough courts in this country, from the court of original jurisdiction, that is the customary court, to the Akali court, from the Court of First Instance, the High Court, the Appeal Court, the Supreme Court. We have 7 special courts in this country, special courts that have specific problems to handle. the military tribunal, the court of impeachment, the constitutional council, the administrative court, the special criminal tribunal, and the state security court. All of them, they have their own specificity. We don't need CONAC to come and do the work of the judiciary.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes, I think the legislative arm of the government has a lot to do. One, it must be independent from the executive. The National Assembly and the Senate must be able to control government actions and those that are appointed. The regime has impoverished the National Assembly.
Okay.
So they cannot even control anything. You have parliamentarians today, they are in public contract. What is a parliamentarian doing with public contract? They must be independent to control all government action on a daily basis. That is their duty. We have gone to the UK to borrow 55 billion and excess of 40 billion. When the House of Commons wanted to look into the Nozo problem, the killing of women and children in the Northwest, we have gone there to borrow money. That excess 40 billion, me, I see foul play, I see corruption.
Okay, sir.
So the Assembly should control government actions.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, Charles Mbela.
So as I was saying, the National Assembly too has a prerogative to do questioning. What CONAC is doing, the members of National Assembly could do that. You must not be in the SDF before you do something. And again, it will be very, very difficult for us to see legislative arm of government being independent. It's supposed to be like that. From the moment the Constitution says that the President of the Republic, who is the Chief Executive Officer, guarantees the independence of the judiciary, it becomes a problem. And our parliamentarians, I'm sorry to say that, it's like they don't know their duty. Our parliamentarians in this country have two main functions: to debate and vote laws, as well as control government action. They are supposed to put up a parliamentary inquiry if they suspect, if there is corruption, if there is embezzlement or siphoning of state coffers. But they don't do that. All they do, they are interested in micro grants. They're interested in projects. They're interested in contract. That is not the duties of parliamentarians. Okay. I think that they are not above the law, even though they have immunity. That is not the functions of parliamentarians. They're not supposed to be mingling with public contracts and taking a work from. They are the ones who come and control. If a school was supposed to be constructed in Nwa, sincerely, every member of parliament, not necessarily coming from Nwa, I may be a member of parliament from Jai Lobo, and there is a school that is being constructed in Nwa. I have the prerogative because I am members of the National Assembly. Yes, you go there and say, no, this is the standard of the classroom in Cameroon. The person who took this contract is not doing it well. And then you call the structures, whether you're calling the Minister of Public Contracts or the ministry that is directly linked to that, maybe Minister of Secondary Education or Higher Education or Basic Education, and you tell them what is happening is not correct. Okay. That is the function of members of parliament. Empowerment. Mr. Alenkem, we are moving out with you.
I think for CONAC to work, I will not say that we should kick out CONAC. For CONAC to work, we need to rephrase the referential framework of CONAC and rephrase even the preamble. Okay. CONAC should cease from being a body to investigate and denounce. CONAC should have the powers to send people to court. That means to charge you and send you to court and allow you now with the judiciary. If they could even go to that level, I think we should have been already out of this this nonsense. And then the laws should empower CONAC to work. Article 66 should be enabled such a way that CONAC, when they say that the minister who run the Lompanga electricity project, who told us it was 1,000 billion, and later on when he was caught, he brought in front of the magistrate cartons of money amounting to 1,700 million. All of that was for what? So we strongly believe that the government should provide an enabling environment for CONAC to function, and by revising the laws of the country and allow it to do its work. Because already Lambre said the courts are there. I agree with him, but he must know that Cameroon breeds corruption. Corruption sustains the regime, and to start sending out corruption, we must look for other alternatives. Exactly, and those alternatives are by rephrasing and reframing the work of CONAC and giving them the maximum amount of powers to permit them send people directly to court.
Okay. Your last words.
Yes, yes, thank you very much, Abel. Jesus says in John 16 that in the world you have tribulation, you will have peace in me.
Yeah.
If you want peace, you can go to Jesus. And as far as corruption is concerned, the heart of education is the education of the heart.
Yeah.
If we teach our hearts and educate our hearts with the ethics that every profession, cutting through every profession has, then we would certainly eliminate corruption in our country. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Mark Waters, Japte. Jean-Marie Anaba is just joining me for Biometric Politics. Good afternoon to you, Jean-Marie.
Good afternoon, ABEL Bela Samari. Good afternoon to your guests. Good afternoon to our listeners.
So what are we going to be discussing today?
Oui, vous avez parlé de la corruption. À côté de la corruption, vous verrez que nous avons des fonctionnaires qui vivent parfois ici à Yaoundé alors qu'ils sont affectés dans votre village. Je ne sais pas pourquoi ils ne vont jamais là-bas. Ils vont souvent, lorsque je prends le cas des enseignants, des lycées, les plèques, ils vont là-bas quand il y a un contrôle ici. Et ils ont certainement remplacé quand ils reviennent à Yaoundé. Et à la fin du mois, ils s'alignent là à la descente de la Camer pour aller choquer. Et le président de la République vient de lancer en tout cas une traque pour rattraper ceux qui sont ces fonctionnaires-là qui ne veulent pas aller au travail. Donc on parlera de ce sujet-là dès l'entrée. Mais la grosse interrogation, c'est autour également, vous savez que M. Marcel Nyandifenji était absent du Sénat. Est-ce que ça ouvre le débat sur cette question autour du contrôle du Percho avec les élections qui sont annoncées dans les prochains jours? Tout comme on dira aussi un mot sur le troisième débat qui sera bien sur des questions de gouvernance aussi avec les crises actuelles que le Cameroun traverse. Bref, c'est un plateau alléchant qui s'annonce dans les prochaines minutes.
Listeners, don't move a muzzle because up next is Biometric Politics with Jean-Marie Anaba. Stay blessed.
Vous êtes sur Royal FM. Royal FM. Dans un instant, sur votre radio, c'est la pub.
Up next is a commercial page.